Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a custom title block in Fusion 360. So let's get started. You can see that I have Fusion open up here. So the first thing I need you to do is probably go out and grab an image or a logo of your school because we're going to be using it later on. I already have mine stored. Next, I need you to create a new project and I need you to call it title blocks. And you can see I already have mine here and you can see that I have a couple title blocks already in mine. All right, I'm going to close up my little waffle or data panel because I want to use as much area as I possibly can. Next, I'm going to go up to File up here. I'm going to slide down to where it says New Drawing Template. And we're going to open that up. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our Create Drawing Template. And we're going to start setting up our parameters. I'm going to leave it from scratch. I'm going to use the ACME. I'm going to set my units to inches. And now down here, I'm going to slide down and I can pick the size that I want. Now, most of the time in my class, I use 8.5 by 11, but I use it in landscape. So I'm going to use a size 11 by 8.5. Once I have that done, I'm going to select OK. And this will take a second for it to pop up. Now, once this pops up, I'm going to immediately come down here to this dialog box and hit Cancel. Don't need that open. Next, I'm going to come down on this title block. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go down to where it says Edit Title Block. Now up here is where I'm going to give it a new name. So I want to name it something. So I'm just going to call mine SHS because that's my school. And I'm just going to write sample for this one because I already have a couple already called SHS title blocks. On your case, you might want to call it whatever your school name is and then landscape and then whatever size it is, like a size sheet. But I'm just going to call it SHS sample for now. We'll hit OK. Now, I don't like this large title block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm going to left click. I'm going to hold my mouse down. I'm going to drag open this orange box over the top of it. Once it turns blue, I'm going to right click and select delete. I'm going to get rid of that because I'm going to create my own custom title block. I'm going to use my scroll wheel. I'm going to scroll out a little bit so I can see. You can see that I have the border here. So now what I need to do is I need to start creating my own title block. So I'm going to come up here to the line command and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to snap right on that corner and I'm going to snap right to that corner. If it doesn't snap there, and I'll back up a step. If it doesn't snap here, come over here where it says snap to grid. Make sure this is turned on. So I'll do that again. I can go up the line and then I could snap on the corner and snap on the corner. Now, when you're making a new title block, here's a little issue is there are no dimension tools. So I can't dimension these lines, but we have a way around that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this line. So I'm going to come up here to the move command. I'm going to select on that line first and it turns blue. Once this box opens up, the move box, I'm going to make sure that I select transform. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on the endpoint of that line and I'm going to slide it up. And you can see that little gray box that I have. It's going to tell me exactly how far above the origin that I am. And I like 1 inch, so I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to click and I'm going to come up here and hit OK to set it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple lines. I'm going to come from this endpoint down to that endpoint and same thing over here. I'm going to move a couple of these lines here. Now I'm going to hit move. I'm going to select this line. It turns blue. Make sure I hit transform. I'm going to select that endpoint and I'm going to carefully slide it over. And I'm going to slide this one over 1 inch. So I have a 1 inch by 1 inch square right here. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now I need to make some more lines. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to make another line from here to this endpoint. I'm going to select move again. Select that line, it turns blue. Make sure I hit transform. Grab one of these endpoints and slide it up. And I'm going to put it right at 1/2 inch. And then I'll hit OK. So now I have that line in there. Next, I'm going to take this line that I created earlier, move it. Okay, it's got transform selected. I'm going to slide it over. Now I'm going to divide mine into 4 spots. And the distance between that other line and this line right here is actually 9.5 inches. So I'm going to bring this over 2.375. Right there, click and hit OK. I'm going to make another line and I'm going to put this one right over the top of this one. I'm going to select move, click on the line, make it blue. I'm going to click on the point. I'm going to slide this over another, and it's going from that last point. So I'm going to slide this one over 2.375. Click. Hit OK. I'm going to do the same thing, make a line over the top of this line that I just brought over. I'll select move, click on that line, make sure I hit transform. grab that endpoint and bring that over another 2.375. Click and then hit OK. Now I'm going to get rid of some of these lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my trim tool. I'm going to trim some of these out. I'm going to leave that last one in there. So this is looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to bring my logo in. So I'm going to come up here to insert, and I'm going to go to insert from my computer. I had this stored on my desktop, so I got it right there. I'm going to hit open, and I'm just going to place this anywhere for now. What I should have done is I should have zoomed in first, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit OK. And now what I can do is I can come to the edge of this image. I can click on the edge, and now I can resize it by grabbing corners. I can now grab it and pull it down, do it again, bring it down. And I want to put it inside my little box right here, but I really don't want it to touch any of the corners. It's looking pretty good. Next, we need to add some text. This is going to be text that's not going to be attribute text, which means it's not going to go along with the part. It's going to be text that's always going to be stamped on my drawing. So I'm going to come up here to the text box, but before I click on the text box, I want to come over here and take Snap to Grid off. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Now I'm going to go up to text, and I'm just going to put this in anywhere. Now this is going to be text. It's going to tell me what's in these boxes. So I need to make this kind of small. So I'm going to make this 0.08. And then I can come over here. And the first one is, I'm going to call it drawing title. That's going to be the first thing I want to do. And there's my box. I can change the color. I can change the font. I can make it bold if I want, italicize. I can justify it left and right, up and down. I can add symbols in here, but I like it just for that. I'm going to hit close. I can click on this, and now I'm going to slide it right down here into this corner. Okay, I want it real close, very small. Now I can do a couple things. I can go back up here to text again. Again, I can make it 0.08. I want it small again. And I can come back down here, and this might be drawn by, close, and I can put it in there. So I can keep doing that, or I can just, if I want, I can just come over to any one of these. I can right click, I can hit copy. I'm going to right click again, hit paste. It's going to put it right on top, so I can just drag it out a little bit. And now I'll double click on it, and you should be able to edit it. Nope, let me hit OK up here first, sorry. Now I can double click on it, and I can change it to, we'll say, scale. Back it up a little bit, and I can move it into place. I can do the same thing. I can hit paste again, grab this up, hit OK, double left click, and this is going to be date. I'll move this back down here where I want it. So these are going to be always stamped on my drawing title block. I'm going to put my school name in here and what class it is. So I'm going to go up to text. I'm going to create some text. I'm going to make a box, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it 0.2. I'm actually going to change the color on this one. I'm going to make it a little dark blue because that's my school colors. And I'm going to type in the name of our school. And the name of this course, IED. We'll hit close. I can double click on this. I can resize this what I want, and then I'll drag it down to see if it's going to fit. And that's a little bit big, so we're going to double click on it. I'm going to highlight my text, and maybe we'll change that to 0.15, see what that looks like. Bring that down. Yep, that's just going to fit in there real nice. Next, I want to add the attributes. These are the things that are going to come along with whatever component that you're going to put on this title block. So I'm going to go right up here to attributes. And I'm just going to click anywhere, and it says drawn by. So I can come over here, and here's my attributes dialog box. I can pick anything that I want, drawn by, drawn, scale. This one is actually going to be the part name. Now I'm going to want this one definitely bigger. So maybe 0.2 on this one. Okay, I'm going to want this quite large. I can justify it left and right. Once I'm done, I can take this and I can slide this down to where I want it. And this will put my part name in there. I'm going to add some more attributes. I'm going to put this one right down here. We'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This one is going to be drawn by, so I'm going to say drawn by. And we're going to leave it at like 12. We'll hit OK. It'll be a little bit bigger. And we'll say drawn by. I'll put it right there. I'll do another attribute. Plop it in there. This one will be my scale, so a drawing scale. I can hit OK. If I don't like the placement, I can turn around and can move it a little bit. One more attribute. We'll put it right in here. And that one is going to be the drawn date. These are real good to try to catch your kids if they're grabbing someone else's drawings. So I'm going to put that one right in there. So there's all my attributes on my drawing. So now I'm all done with my new title block. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say finish title block. Now, do not put anything on this title block. This is still a template. Okay, so don't go up and put a part on here. Next thing you want to do is go up to File, and you want to hit Save. And you want to give it a name. I'm going to call it the same thing I called it before, SHS. I'm going to call this sample because I'm going to delete this when I'm done with this one. And I want to make sure that you scroll down, you find your title blocks folder that you have. You open that up, make sure it says title blocks, and then hit Save. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to close this down. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up a random part. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab one of my folders. I have some wooden blocks up here. Let's grab one of those wooden blocks and open it up. Now, once I have my block open, I'm going to come up here to Design. I'm going to scroll down to Drawing from Design. Next, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to browse. So you'll have to do this the first time. And I'm going to browse to my title block projects. I'm going to select my sample, the one I created. I'm going to hit OK. And this will take a few seconds. There it is. Now, you can see that my block is already here. Fusion will automatically default to the front view of the block. I can always change that over here in the drawing view. So I could change to a different type of view, but I'm going to always want to leave it as my front view. I can also come over here and I can change it to visible edges, visible and hidden edges, which you probably should be using, solid, and then solid with edges. I can also change the scale this, and I'm going to change the scale this. I need it a little bit bigger when I'm going to put it in here. Once I get everything set, I'm going to put my front view right down here in the bottom lower left corner, and I'll hit OK. Next, I'm going to go up here to Project View. I'm going to select my front view. I'm going to scroll up, and I'll click and put in my top view. I'll come over to the right side, and I'll click and put my right side view in, and I'll come over here and click for my isometric view. Then I'm going to right-click, hit OK, and then I'm going to change that. I'm going to make that color and hit Close. Now, if we zoom in carefully, you'll see the name of that block. You'll see who drew it. You'll see the scale, and you'll see the date that that was actually created. So that's what your attributes will show you on a title block. So hopefully this helped you out on how to create your own custom title block, and I hope you create one for your school.